Around 80% of women are dissatisfied with their appearance. That's 80%. Imagine any other product with an 80% dissatisfaction rate. 87% of women compare themselves to images online, and they absolutely know that often those images are heavily edited or completely unrealistic. The difference wasn't in my size, it was in my relationship with myself. When I'm this thin enough, when I look like this, I'll be happy and this will happen. This mentality is probably the biggest lie that we've been sold. The numbers are staggering. The global weight loss market is worth over 250 billion. Your body is the vessel carrying you through this one precious life. It deserves your gratitude, not your contempt and disapproval. Hi there, and welcome to a special episode of PSI Love Me. I'm your host, Lynda Williams, and today is a little different. Instead of interviewing one of our fabulous guest experts, it's me having a heart-to-heart about something that affects nearly every woman I know, our relationship with our bodies. You know, it struck me recently that for all our progress as women building careers and lives that we're really proud of, there's still this battlefield that we're managing daily, and it's actually the one in the mirror. That little voice, that little niggle in the back of our heads commenting on our appearance, it actually rarely takes a day off. And most of us have experienced those moments standing in a dressing room, trying on clothes, or in your workout class. The lights are absolutely hideous, and we start scrutinizing parts of ourselves that we've been taught to see as flaws. We tell ourselves stories about how our happiness or our success is waiting on the other side of a certain size or a certain shape, as if our worth as human beings was somehow tied to the size and measurements of our bodies. And I've seen the stats, and I've basically averaged out that research and studies consistently show that around 80% of women are dissatisfied with their appearance. That's 80%. Imagine any other product with an 80% dissatisfaction rate. It would be pulled from the market immediately. Yet somehow we're meant to accept this collective unhappiness as normal. It's bonkers. And of course, social media adds another side jab to this issue, that comparison body image situation. Research again shows that Instagram and similar platforms are the most damaging to our body image. And here's another stat. 87% of women compare themselves to images online. And they know, and they absolutely know, that often those images are heavily edited or completely unrealistic. So how do we break free from this comparison trap? Obviously, limited exposure is key. And when you do go on social media, practice conscious awareness. Ask yourself, how am I feeling before I pick up my phone? How do I feel after 20 minutes of scrolling? This mindfulness will help you hugely, and it will also help you start to be a bit more conscious about curating your feed. And I also highly recommend listening to that gut. Like, how are you feeling when you're scrolling? How are you feeling when you're following certain accounts? Start unfollowing accounts that make you feel less than, and replace them with content that focuses on things like inner self-worth, improvement, not outer. What's going to bring us more joy and happiness and fulfillment, not how fast you can lose 3 kg for your next holiday or your black tie event. And remember, what we're often comparing ourselves to isn't even real. A recent study actually found that 90% of young women use filters or edit their photos before posting, meaning that we're measuring ourselves against actually fictional versions of other people. It's batshit crazy. That fashion influencer that you admire, her body has likely been digital altered beyond what she actually looks like in real life. And remember that your body is the least interesting thing about you. Your compassion, your intellect, your honesty, your heart, your loyalty, your passion, your zest for life, your empathy, your kindness, your creativity, your resilience, these are your true superpowers. They deserve far more of your precious attention than how you compare to a filtered stranger on a screen. And I want to share something personal with you. Over the years, my own weight has fluctuated by about 8 kg. That's about 1.25 stone. And here's what I discovered. When I was at my lowest weight, when people were commenting that I looked like a model, did I find the man of my dreams? Did my whole life magically transform? Of course it didn't. But when I became truly comfortable with who I was, when I started accepting myself inside and out, warts and all, that's when I started to attract the right partner for me. And that's when everything started to fall into place. The difference wasn't in my size, it was in my relationship with myself. What I've come to realize is that our bodies are not projects to be completed. They're not problems to be solved. They're, okay, when I'm this thin enough, when I look like this, I'll be happy and this will happen. This mentality is probably the biggest lie that we've been sold. And make no mistake, it was sold to us by industries that profit from our discontent. All right? The numbers are staggering. The global weight loss market is worth over 250 billion. That's billion with a capital B. We're spending more trying to change our bodies than the gross domestic product of many countries. And what do we get in return? Research shows again that 95% of diets fail in the long term, with most people regaining any lost weight within 1 to 5 years. We're pouring money, we're pouring energy and hope into solutions that are statistically almost guaranteed to disappoint us. I remember interviewing a former fashion magazine editor in my PR agency days who told me that they specifically placed diet ads beside articles about successful women. So whether it was diet ads, whether it was supplement, weight loss, it was creating this subconscious link between achievement and thinness. The messaging was clear. She said, you can be successful, but God forbid you're above a size 10 while doing it. So when we think about it, isn't it extraordinary what our bodies actually do for us? These are vessels. We're so quick to criticize, but they're actually nothing short of miraculous. Your body transports you through the world. Those legs you have scrutinized for cellulite have carried you through life's milestones, through grief, through joy, dance through dance floors, quiet walks. Those arms you might wish were more toned have embraced people you love, has created art, have built things, have comforted others. And then there's the sheer wonder of what happens inside your body. Your body houses an incredible brain capable of solving complex problems or creating beauty with your hands or experiencing the full range of human emotion. It contains a heart that not only pumps life-giving blood, but also metaphorically feels love, it feels compassion, and it feels connection. And many of our bodies have even performed the extraordinary feat of creating and birthing an entire human being, growing eyes, growing fingernails, and consciousness from almost nothing. What other flaws could possibly overshadow that kind of magic? So instead of punishing these incredible vessels with restrictive diets or injecting them with the latest trendy weight loss pen, what if we focused on nourishing them? Real nourishment, whole foods that actually fuel our cells, movement that brings us joy instead of doing the latest fad, rest that truly restores us and makes us feel great. Not because we're trying to shrink or conform, but because these remarkable bodies deserve our care and respect. And my own mindset has shifted dramatically. If I put on a few pounds over Christmas or during holidays, do I beat myself up? Absolutely not. Because I had a wonderful time connecting with friends and with family and people I love. And those memories and bonds are worth so much more than maintaining a certain number on a scale. And when I'm a bit softer or curvier, I look in the mirror and say, you're womanly and beautiful, and that extra bit around your stomach is actually protecting your vital organs inside. And when I'm more toned, I say, hey, you're athletic and you're strong and you'll grow old well with fewer injuries because you've built muscle. So it's always function over form. And here's one final tip I want to share. I never weigh myself. I do weights in the gym, my hormones fluctuate, water retention is a real thing, and my period obviously moves the scale. So why bother? I go by how my clothes fit. Why would I want to set my mood for the day by what the number says on the weighing scales. That's giving away way too much power. And I'm just not being whimsical here. Studies show that women who regularly weigh themselves report higher levels of anxiety, depression, and disordered eating behaviors than those who don't weigh themselves every day. And one particularly interesting study found that women asked to weigh themselves daily for 2 weeks showed significant decreases in self-esteem and body satisfaction, regardless of their actual weight or whether it changed. The path to health isn't found in a syringe or a diet plan that promises rapid weight loss. It's in understanding that our bodies have evolved to thrive on real food, natural movement, and genuine connection. When we feed ourselves with nutrient-dense foods, lots of vegetables, good quality proteins, the good fats, we're not just affecting our appearance, good skin, we're supporting our brain function, we're supporting hormonal balance, immune strength, and longevity, living longer but living well. And that's true self-care, not the quick fixes marketed to us by those profiting from our insecurities. I nourish my body with lots of vegetables, quality proteins. I've reduced my alcohol intake massively over the years, and I move daily, but I do what's right for me. I nurture my body. I don't beat it up every day. And neither should you. Because here's the truth. At the end of our lives, none of us will wish we'd spent more time worrying about our cellulite or getting to be supermodel thin. We'll have wished we loved more fiercely, lived more fully, and laughed until our sides hurt, those belly laughs. And by the way, those sides of your belly are perfect exactly the way they are. Your body is the vessel carrying you through this one precious life. It deserves your gratitude, not your contempt and disapproval. And you, my dear, deserve to experience life from a place of peace with your physical self. Not because you've achieved some ridiculous standard, but because you're already complete just the way you are, and you're already enough. You're already worthy of every good thing this world has to offer to you. I'm Lynda Williams, and I'm reminding you that the PS in PSI Love Me stands for the postscript to all of those years of negative self-talk. It's the loving amendment we add after decades of getting it wrong. PSI Love Me exactly as I am. And I hope with all my heart that you're learning to do the same. Until the next time. That's it for today's episode of PSI Love Me. I hope you've learned some interesting nuggets to weave into your everyday life to feel a little lighter, brighter, and inspired. If you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more high-achieving women like yourselves to find us. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Lynda Williams Coach, for more daily inspiration and updates.